Yeah, pasa to the pack. It is pack here. Now, if you watch this channel, you understand how it goes. Usually when I do a roster update video, I then usually the next day go to Twitter and talk about the player rating changes, what like the popular opinion in Twitter's like reactions are. I didn't do that for the 7th roster update that just dropped right before the All-Star break because there was like trade deadline, All-Star break, free agency signings that I got kind of caught up and I haven't really done it. But because there's been no games since then, I'm not able to do this like bi-weekly projection roster update because there's been no games, so players haven't gotten better, right? Now, what I want to do is get a little late. I want to talk about the fans' reactions on Twitter of what they think these ratings are, if they agree with them or disagree with them, and all that kind of stuff. If you like that kind of content when it comes to NBA 2K player ratings, rosters, updates, and all those kind of changes, I do it basically every single day. So please join the pack and subscribe so we can discuss. Let's get it, man. First topic is easily the most popular one. So right here you see Damian Lillard goes +1 to a 93 overall. Initial thoughts. Damian Lillard is playing probably his best basketball ever. And it's a shame because the Blazers have not been able to be successful, but it's not because of Damian Lillard. He's been having to carry, and that's probably why his numbers are better than they ever have been. But in Dame's prime, he was a 95 overall. And to not be that high, it feels wrong. Let's see what you guys think. We could just start with Jabari Walker's revenge. He says, bro, y'all suck. Damian Lillard has been averaging 37.1 points, 7.4 assists, and 4.8 rebounds in 20 games in the last 20 games. 37 points per game on really efficient numbers. That would be the leader in the NBA right now. This is insane numbers. If the Blazers were one of the better teams in the NBA, he would be front runner right now as MVP, even probably past Jokic. What Dame is doing is video game numbers. Cirque says, how is Dame a 93 on those splits? He should be a 96, probably plus. And David says Dame is averaging 40 in the last 2 weeks and you only gave him a 93. These are jokes. Oh, you know this, Nathan. You know Nathan's a subscriber. He says they really saw Dame averaging 38 and 8 on insane efficiency for the last month. And they said, yeah, seems like a +1 to me. That sounds exactly like a subscriber, bro. And even Sack Activities says Dame should be nothing less than a 96. So everyone has a general consensus that Dame is way too low. I think minimum, if we're going to go absolute minimum, Damian Lillard's a 95 overall. He is playing as good as he was in his prime, and we had him at a 95. Regardless of how the team is playing, the Blazers are barely the 12th seed. They are holding on to the dream of making the play-in tournament with so many struggles this year. It's really hard to give players really high ratings when their team struggles. Like SGA this year has been, you could argue, been a 95 all year, but he's only given it a 93 because the team has not been winning. It's going to be the exact same thing with Dame, is that even though he's putting up video game numbers, because the team isn't winning, you can't give someone like a 96 overall on a bad team. That's just not how it works. However, when you're putting up 37 points per game on absurd efficiency, like Nathan says, yeah, I mean, you probably do deserve like a 96 overall. I'd put him at a 95. I think putting him at a 93 was a joke. I think only giving a +1, doing what he's doing, is a joke. I do think he needs to go up to a 95 minimum, and I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up to a 96 or even higher. He's been him for a long time. He's one of the most fun players in the NBA. He's a truly respectable player because he's decided to stay with the Blazers all these years. Even when they don't make correct roster moves, he's stayed there. And he's been, he called himself the greatest Blazer of all time. He's definitely top 3 with Bill Walton and Clyde Drexler. But in terms of how long he's been in Portland and how successful he's been, I mean, he's made a conference finals with the team. He's been the best player for what, 10 years now at least? Yeah, I do think he definitely gets the right to at least be in the conversation for best Blazer ever. And you can make the argument for sure that he is the best Blazer of all time. To me, 95 overall minimum for him. Next one is one that we were talking about for a while, but 2K did not listen. They said you didn't update the player of the week, which was Derek White. In a 4-game stretch was averaging almost 25 points on almost 8 assists. Well, that's not necessarily correct. I believe Derek White got a +1 to a 79, or it was a +2 to an 80 overall. So to say that he didn't get an upgrade, that's actually not true, Celtic Nation. You're wrong. But he didn't get a big update. And I want to explain to you guys why technically Derek White should have probably gotten something a lot larger than just a +1 or 2. In the last 10 games, Derek White's averaging 20 points per game, 48% from the field, 44% from three, with 6 assists on only 1 turnover in the last 10 games, not just the last 5. In the last 5, he's averaging almost 25 points, even crazier numbers. And on top of that, Derek White's a very good defender. So if we take a step back, remove context, remove everything, these numbers right here would put him up to like an 88 overall. Now, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that because we know it's only been, a couple weeks. Let's not overreact and give him this absurdly massive rating. In my opinion, Derek White's around an 83 overall. Let me explain to you why I think this. So when Derek White was on the Spurs, when he was playing during the bubble, he looked really good. As a Spurs fan, I really thought he was going to be our best player, our leading scorer for the next couple years. And looking at how Derek White's playing right now, it's not a stretch to feel that way. Okay. When Derek White went to the Celtics, I did not see the Derek White that I saw in San Antonio. Maybe it's because his role changed, maybe because he didn't have as much confidence, also because he was coming off injuries. It could have been a lot of reasons, but Derek White's been healthy. Derek White understands his role now, and he's starting to play pretty damn good. Now, the Celtics are the best team in the NBA, but only by 1 game. The Bucks are right behind them. And in my opinion, this was the reason. Well, there's 2 reasons why the Celtics are starting to slow down, even though it's more of the Bucks picking it up. Is because, yes, we have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown doing amazing, but your Robert Williams III was injured, Marcus Smart injured was for a little bit, Brogdon had been inconsistent, and Derek White had been inconsistent. There was no third option in terms of scoring. Now, if you look at the Bucks, you have Giannis, Drew Holiday, and now Chris Middleton is looking back into form. So you have their big 3, and they're all consistent. The Celtics have a big 2, and the third option was supposed to be Malcolm Brogdon, but he has good days and bad days. And Derek White also is having good days and bad days. But now that Derek White is playing like this, if he can continue this throughout the year, I'm saying flat out the Celtics are the favorites to win a championship if Derek White can continue this. Now, 25 points per game is unrealistic, but 20 points per game, he can do that on good efficiency. Plus, I would much rather him average 20 on amazing efficiency and good defense than 25 on bad efficiency, right? If that's the case. So, Derek White's capable. He just needs to have confidence and stay healthy. And I could see him as an 83. Max, I could see him at like an 85, but that'd be pushing it. I'm really rooting for him. He was one of my favorite players. I really wanted to buy a jersey when he was on the Spurs. I do think that he is that good of a player, and I really want to see him win a championship. I think that would make me really happy. That's a selfish reason, but yes, I think he could be like an 85 overall at an absolute maximum. So something that a lot of people were getting upset at was Donovan Mitchell going -1 to a 90. David says the honest truth. 2K when Donovan Mitchell doesn't drop 40 a game and it's just trash can. That's exactly what's going on here. Donovan Mitchell was one of the leading scorers in the NBA for the first couple months, and he's still been very, very good. But in the last 10 games, Donovan Mitchell's been averaging only 23 points per game, but very efficiently 23 points per game. Now, because Donovan Mitchell was averaging a consistent 40 and was dropping 71-point games, of course, Donovan Mitchell's rating was at like a 91, and we were looking up to like a 93. I mean, it was going to go higher and higher and higher, especially because the Cavs are the 4th seed in the East firmly, right? It's just that they don't have a superstar like the 3 teams above them, so of course they can't pass them. But they're still one of the best teams in the East, and I'd argue one of the most filled out teams in the East. That Donovan Mitchell was getting the rating that he was deserving, and I was expecting it to go higher and higher. But points per game wise, he has slowed down. I have a counter argument. So yes, Donovan Mitchell points per game has gone down, but he's still very efficient. What does that mean? It means Donovan Mitchell is taking a lot less shots. Okay, now why is that? That's because Darius Garland has picked up his play a significant amount. He's averaging 22 points in the last 10 games on 56% from the field and like 53% from 3, while being one of the best playmakers in basketball. So what is that telling us is that Donovan Mitchell hasn't gotten worse. Darius Garland has gotten better. So the amount of Donovan Mitchell's use has gone down, but the skill, the talent has not gone down. Why is his rating going down? Now, I'm okay with him staying at a 91 overall and not going up. That's fine. But you don't downgrade a player when they haven't started playing worse. Just because a player's points per game goes down, it doesn't mean anything if the efficiency has stayed the same. That's the big reason. Look, Donovan Mitchell, I'm not going to lie to you. He's mostly just a scorer. He's not really that crazy of a playmaker. His defense, at least he tries on defense, but I wouldn't call him a good defender. So he's a bucket getter. Players who are just bucket getters usually don't have really high ratings besides like a 90 to a 91. But Donovan Mitchell's been so good at it that he deserves this. I'm not saying he needs to go down. I also don't think he needs to go up. He should have stayed at a 91 overall. And I also think Darius Garland needs to go up and up and up because, man, he's been so good. Cavaliers are 4th seed. I really hope that they can all play good at the same time. And who knows, they can make a magical run. Finally, it's Mello, who says, still no Edwards update, shake my head. Anthony Edwards, believe it or not, did not get a rating update. He has been an 87 overall for a good part of the year. Now, let's understand the Timberwolves situation right now. In the last 10 games, Anthony Edwards averaging 27 points per game on 48% of the field. These are good numbers for a shooting guard. The Timberwolves somehow are the 8th seed without Karl-Anthony Towns essentially the entire season. So it's been Rudy Gobert and Anthony Edwards. They've actually started to have a pretty good relationship. They're actually playing really good together. Anthony Edwards, like I said, is having a good year so far, statistically at least. But they haven't upgraded him. Now, why is that? Now, I think that Anthony Edwards is around an 88 to an 89. I don't think he's a 90 overall club member just yet, just because, okay, I know it's kind of hypocritical for me to just talk about Donovan Mitchell and like his numbers and how I think he's a 91, but then Anthony Edwards is almost doing the exact same thing. Numbers wise, relax. And I don't think he should be the same rating. But I do think it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different because Donovan Mitchell is already with his roster healthy, right? And doing what he's doing. Anthony Edwards' numbers are up because Karl-Anthony Towns has been hurt. Now, we don't know how that team is going to look like when everybody is together and healthy. Not only that, they just lost, D'Angelo Russell, who was a 21 point per game scorer on that team. So now Anthony Edwards is going to be going up even more because his usage is going to go up a lot more. Does that mean Anthony Edwards has gotten better up to like a 90 overall? I genuinely don't know. I honestly feel like unless the Timberwolves go up to like the 6th seed or something and he keeps putting up better numbers, then maybe, yes, we can do that. But if they're staying around this level and they're doing this without Karl-Anthony Towns, I do feel like he stays at around like an 88, 89. I do think it could be an 89. I actually think if I were doing ratings, I would put him at an 89 overall right now. But to put him in the 90 overall club, as usually best player on a really good playoff team kind of number or rating. And I just don't know if Anthony Edwards is that yet without a healthy roster and a good team. I don't know yet. So I think as of today, you put him at like an 88, 89, keep him there. And then if Karl-Anthony Towns comes back this season and they start winning a little bit more, then we can talk about putting him in the 90 overall club. I still think he does deserve an upgrade, even if it's a little bit of one. But okay, that was a fun one, guys. I actually enjoyed every single one of those topics. I actually, usually I do like 6 to 7 topics, but this time I only did 4. I think I like that more because I can sit down and talk about it more in detail on each topic. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with any of my takes or disagree? Let me know. And if you like this channel, please give it a sub. I'll see you guys next time.